Hello again, everyone. This morning finds me having a bit of a fiddle. I've slightly frustrated. My computer is playing silly kids. I couldn't get to my design studio designs I bought on Silhouette. I don't know what's the matter. They looked like they were downloaded and then they weren't downloaded, and so on and so forth. So I have a commission card to make. The request is for a lady called Erica. She's 60. I was to use duck egg blue and bunting. That's the commission. So what I have done is, I thought I would make. What I was trying to download was a file for bunting, but I thought I haven't got it, so I'll see what I can do. I had bought a long time ago some bunting from Memory Box, but it had little stitching on, and some of the stitching, wasn't deep enough and didn't show through, and I tried to exchange it and never got round to it. So I don't think I've ever used it. So I thought I'll make some bunting. Didn't have a line to make one with, but I did have this, which is from a set of single line dies that make like hillsides and all this kind of stuff. There was some wavy ones. I use them a lot, but it just bisects a piece of card. Doesn't cut anything out, just cuts. So what I did was this. I made one cut into a piece of card and then took the die out and put it in again so that the edge of the die butted up against where that last cut was, and then I taped it down. And what I finished up with was this lovely little fine line. This was my first attempt, and you can see the problem here. I didn't tape it parallel to the previous cut, if I can pick it up. This side is fairly wide, and this side is really quite skinny. So I tried again, and I got it right. So it's worthwhile taking just a little bit of time to make sure you do get it right. So with that, I used a little set of tag dies, which I thought I would thread onto this to make my bunting. Okay, good enough. How do I attach that to a card? What I thought I would do is this. Have a panel like that, and I would have the bunting going across like this. And I rather liked the idea of it sticking out from this panel. But I thought that would look a bit odd. And then I remembered a long time ago from Charlie and Paulchen, I'd got these, and these are tiny, tiny little peg clothespin dies. So I thought if I cut those out, colour them, and just stick them one at each end as if it's attached to this panel, I thought that might look kind of cute. So I'm going to colour those the same duck egg blue. Just got one of my Ohuhu pens to do this colouring. I thought that way I can get the colour that she wanted. How to put the age? She wanted age 60 on it. So I cut out a 60. I thought I'd have a balloon. This is the thread from a needle and thread die from Memory Box. I think the balloon is a Memory Box one as well. And I thought I would just kind of do that on there and have a 60 on. Well, this is the first one I did. I cut those out and I thought they looked jolly unfriendly. So looked again and I found these. And I think the rounded shape of these is much more familiar to me. I'm kind of rounded. So I thought that was nicer. So I thought we'd have that on there. And I thought I just did Happy Birthday, Erica on the computer. And I did that in a very sort of, a deepish sort of grey, which I thought was kind of in keeping, because I don't want a lot of colour. I think I'm going to leave the string white, this white, those white, but I will add a little bit of with my shimmer pen. So this is the clothespin here. Can you see it's there? I've left it attached. This is like to put on the wall, and you can put hangers on or peg things on. So I've left it attached. So I mean, it's absolutely minuscule. So if I'd broken that off, it would have been lost for sure. So let's just get that back on my bit of magnet with all the other bits and bobs. So let's kind of it's going to be a question of assembly really, because I've spent a very long time this morning messing about, wondering this, wondering that, doing this, doing that, and getting in a bit of a pickle. So I am wondering whether actually I can raise this up on foam tape. I was wondering about this, but if I cut this out with the same die that I cut that out with, but just reduce the size, it'll be the same length but skinnier. So if I do this, start off kind of there, let me just bring my cutting plate over, have it about there. This is a bit wobbly, let's put it this way up. Okay, need to heat this up again to flatten it out. Let me get my tape. Here it is. Better. Right, let's pop a piece of this on. I need to put it in this way actually, because I'm going to cut this way, so I'll chop a bit off. Okay. Right, I've cut the top piece. So we'll take this off, turn it round, and cut the other way. Trying to get it into the lines, bring it up a little bit. I think that will do. Can always make it smaller if necessary. Going to cut the other way. I'm just going to basically go over the edge and that will be done. That's it. That's all we need. There's my sentiment. So that can go there. That can go there. And this can kind of straddle the two. I think we'd start to put things together. Okay. First of all, I think I better do some twinkling. I'll stick these down because I'm going to twinkle the lot. Stick them down first, and then we'll put the shimmer pen on. A bit much came out then. My granddaughter, should I say, Daisy, it was her birthday yesterday, 17, and she went off to Kenya with the school for a week. She goes to the Royal High School in Bath, and how exciting. What a summer she's going to have. Going to start to be, when she comes back, she'll be starting to learn to drive. And she's going away with her mum and her mum's partner and families to LA for a holiday. Let's get that off. A bit too much glue. She's going somewhere with her dad. I don't know. Lucky duck. Her predicted grades for her A-levels are all A's from her mock exams. So she's really, really in a happy place at the moment. Long may it continue. My other little granddaughter, Cleo, that some of you know from helping me with cards, she's going to be 9 in August. But again, she goes to an independent school and they finish quite early. So she wanted to have a birthday party with all her friends. And she had a Taylor Swift dance party. Oh my Lord, you should have seen them twinkling away. She loves a bit of twinkle, does Cleo. These look nice twinkled, speaking of twinkle, actually. Just puts a bit of sheen on. I'll just carry on and finish these, otherwise would be here forever. I'm not sure of the make of these little tags. They may be, I think they might be German. I don't know whether they're Creative Depot or Alexandra Renker or what's the other one? Charlie and Paulchen. I'm not sure where they're from. So let's thread some of those onto here. And that fits through that little hole perfectly, can you see? Which is such a piece of luck. Oh, it had to be quite skinny for these tiny little holes. So which way did I do that? From the front in, okay. Now I'm going to put a bit of a little glue dot behind each of these. So I'm going to pop it on like this and secure the ends and with a bit of glue, and then put the peg on the top. Then I'll spread these around and just put little glue dots underneath them. Let me come away from the card base for a minute. Now this one needs to go just to be stuck onto there. About like that, I think. I want this to come downwards. So we'll put a little bit of glue on the back. Oh no, put it on here, I think. Okay. About like so. And we'll leave that to dry for a moment. Now let's go back to these. See if I can get a peg on there. Look at the size of the things. They're absolutely tiny. There we are. Peg on there. Now glue dots. These are small. So what I do is cut very close to the end of the glue dot and then just arrange where I want things to go. Pop it underneath, press down, take away the paper, and press down. Okay. Doesn't matter if they're not absolutely evenly spaced. Next one, underneath, press, peel back, press. See if we can add a bit of shape to this balloon. Just very, very gently, because I don't want the 60 to come off. Put some foam tape in the middle to keep it raised. Okay, foam tape on the back of this. That needs a little trim. And that is actually going to do it. I'll just trim off this end. Okay. I think that'd be quite nice. Okay, let's stick this down. Because I used the same die, they are absolutely the same length, and that one's still not straight. That's better. This one, I'll put this on first, and then just a touch of glue on this at the end. There we are. And I think I'm going to call it done. Actually, I might put a few little jewels. I haven't prettied it up enough, I don't think. I'll just put a few little jewels, I think. Just a little scattering. These are the tiniest ones that I've got. Somebody said to me, very good notion. I was saying that, you know, I found it difficult to find these. And if you look for nail art things, you can probably find them quite readily. So that's a really good thought, rather than just looking for, you know, little gems kind of thing. If you look under nail art categories, where did that go? So here's our card for today, 60th birthday card, commissioned for a friend, turquoise and bunting, on 60, and her name. So thank you so much for joining me, and come back and see me again very soon.